Well, Russia's currency is bouncing back to pre-war levels. This boost is mostly due to foreign purchases of Russian oil and gas. This comes despite recent U.S. sanctions targeting Moscow and its leaders. If you've been looking for something new and shiny, you're not alone. Jewelry sales skyrocketed last month. They were up nearly 80% compared to March of 2019. Analysts believe a surge in weddings that were postponed during the pandemic are driving up sales. And pretty soon, you could be checking out stores using Zelle instead of a credit card. Big banks are looking to compete with Visa and MasterCard by using the online money transfer service Zelle. They saw a boom during the pandemic, facilitating nearly 2 billion transfers in 2021. People with student loans are likely breathing a sigh of relief after the Biden administration extended a pause on payments throughout August. News of this was first broken by Michael Stratford from Politico, who joins me now to talk a little bit more about this. So there's been an extension and then another extension. So now people won't have to start paying again until, I think, August, right? Let us talk a little bit more about this, though. We've seen the extensions happen a few times now since the beginning. Do you think the extensions will continue? And what is the significance of this new date?
Yeah, so as you said, most federal student loan payments have been frozen since the beginning of the pandemic back in March 2020. Initially, it was Congress that provided about 40 million borrowers with that relief, but President Trump extended it through executive action twice. And now President Biden this week is extending it for his fourth time using executive action. And payments, this latest relief will allow borrowers to not have to make payments until at least September. But as you alluded to, that's just a few weeks before the midterm elections, and there's already going to be growing pressure on the administration to extend it once again.
Yeah, so here you have, at least for 2 years, you say in your article this affects 40 million Americans. So for 2 years, you have 40 million Americans who have additional money that they wouldn't have had before. What sort of greater impact has this had on the economy, if it's had any impact?
That's right. So we know that borrowers, in addition to not having to make their monthly payments over the past 2 years, have also been saving a lot of money in interest. The interest has also been suspended on these loans. So the Education Department estimates that between $4 and $5 billion every month in interest is not accruing. That is money that borrowers are saving and potentially, of course, being able to put into other things, paying down other debt, living expenses, putting it into savings, retirement, investments. So we know, for example, that credit scores among some federal student loan borrowers actually increased during the pandemic because of this payment relief. But there's also the uncertainty aspect of it. Borrowers know that payments aren't going to resume for another few months, but there's a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen after that. So it's hard for borrowers to plan.
Of course, this has sparked a whole conversation about whether or not debt should be canceled or a portion of this debt should be canceled. But this was put in place during the Trump administration when everyone was talking about stimulus, stimulus, stimulus. We got to stimulate the economy. Now we're talking about, how expensive things are and inflation. I'm wondering if the timing of this is impacting the nature of the conversation.
I think that's right. I think the Biden administration, by extending this for another 4 months, has bought themselves a little more time to figure out how they're going to approach this big issue of debt cancellation. As you'll remember, on the campaign trail, then candidate Biden said that he supports $10,000 of debt cancellation per borrower. Since taking office, the White House has said that he would sign a law if Congress passes it to do that $10,000 of debt relief. That's not really in the cards. Democrats don't have the votes in Congress to do that. So the real question is whether he's going to use executive authority to do that, which is what progressives want him to do. And the White House said yesterday, as they made this announcement, that they are still working through a decision on whether to do that type of broad-based debt relief and haven't ruled it out yet.
A lot of people are crossing their fingers. A lot of people are upset about the conversation, too. Michael Stratford, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.